Hi, this is Jeff with Indoor Doctor. Today we're going to find out if air purifiers really work if the windows are open. We get this question asked a lot with all the pollen coming in and people that have mold sensitivities but may not have central air want the windows open. Let's see if it makes a difference. And the way that we're going to do this is we're actually going to use our biopump and what's called an aerosol spore trap. This is going to go on the biopump and we're going to collect the sample. We're going to do this for 5 minutes. And it's going to collect the air and it's going to go to a mycologist. The mycologist is going to analyze it for things like pollen concentrations, molds. You might see soots and impurities that could be in the house or from outside. And we're going to turn on the air purifier and retake the sample to see if there's a difference. So that's going to be pretty exciting and we're looking forward to the results. The biopump's a great tool. We use it regularly in our indoor air quality evaluations. We can qualify a lot of contaminants, molds by type. Certain molds like Stachybotrys or Chaetomium, these molds may be linked to water damage. So we don't want to see any of that. Other molds that could be found outside in high concentrations in the summer might be Cladosporium, some types of Aspergillus, various forms of Penicillium. So it's good to know what you're dealing with outside and inside, but when the windows are open, we want to make sure that we have a healthy environment. Our complex allergen screening can screen for over 22 complex allergens. Dander, soot by type, aciniform soot versus ash soot. Ash soot comes from the fireplace. Silicates would be sand or something that's embedded in air ducts or carpeting. Various forms of insect parts and larvae. Fiberglass is in the air when you have a break in the insulation within air ducts, possibly within holes in recessed lights or maybe from the basement transversing. That's a huge irritant, especially for toddlers. So we don't want to see really any fiberglass in the air. One of the great things what I like is this is the Filter Queen Defender. This is kind of my go-to. I really like it. It's a Class 2 medical device. And it's FDA approved. It's made in the United States, in Ohio, and it has a very, very good HEPA filter. In fact, the HEPA filtration is rated down to 0.1 microns, or better than 3 times better than HEPA, high efficiency particulate air. And the reason why this has been very popular, the Filter Queen Defender, is it actually filters below the coronavirus level, so it gives you that added protection. It also has a carbon cloth called HEGA, high efficiency gas arrestants. We like HEGA cloths. It not only reduces odors and chemicals, but it has some form of an antimicrobial, antiviral type of surface and coating that may give you extra protection. It's a very simple unit, a plug-and-play unit. Turn it on, turn it off. I carry it with me when I go to the dentist. I just pop it right next to me. My wife has a cabin up in Maine. It's sometimes a little musty. Bring that to reduce any of the allergens instantly. So I really like the Filter Queen Defender. It's a really great unit. Let's see how much longer we have here. We just have a few more minutes here. What we do is we actually use a chain of custody. The samples were recorded on a chain of custody and it goes to the laboratory for analysis. And that way when we get the report back, we can do the measurements before or after. I got another tool I want to show you. It's called the laser particle scanner. This laser particle scanner can instantly measure particulate matter or 2.5 and 10 micron material that can go deep into the lungs. It's another tool that we enjoy presenting with our on-site inspections just to see if things are normal or if things are not normal. So we got a bunch of readings that we can log in, specifically at the 2.5 micron is something that we can measure. We see that the air quality is pretty good. And we'll see if it's in fact even better when we turn on the air purifier. So another tool that we can measure kind of a before and after. So that'll be pretty neat. Right now we're at 947 total particles. And we're going to see if that drops at all. One of the things that you want to be interested in if you're doing any sort of air quality testing is really understanding the overall conditions of the space. And the conditions can be influenced by many factors. How tight the space is. what the overall humidity is. Is there carpeting? What's the kind of deferred maintenance? Is there any sort of hidden water damage? Is it a basement? How many occupants are in there? So there's a lot of variables to consider. So it's not recommended necessarily that you do everything, try to do a home test kit or something like that. But you really want to have the investigation portion and the testing data. And it looks like we're just wrapping up with our biopump. And that's going to go off. So we're going to put that sticky back on there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on the Filter Queen Defender. I'm going to put it on medium. That's a good setting. We're going to run this just for 2 minutes. And then we're going to retake the sample. That's all it takes. It's moving a lot of air. It's filtering air continuously. And we're hoping that we're going to see an improvement. We got pollen on everything in this house. I mean, just you can write your name on it. So hopefully we're going to see a difference in the air quality. And that could be a good solution, is to run the Filter Queen Defender here. You can find us for more information at indoordoctor.com. We got a lot of blogs dealing with soot contamination, fire contamination. We're dealing with mold and toxicity. People that have mold illness, one of the popular things now that we see with functional medicine doctors is actually to have a urine test to understand your mycotoxin level. So you might have a urine test and you might not have the ability to rid certain molds and mycotoxins. And it's good to know what types those are so that you can see if it's coming from the outdoors possibly or inside your residence. Things like ochre toxins and aflatoxins, those would be key markers to be of interest. Since we're getting into summertime, I want to remind everybody that it's a good thing to run your dehumidifier. I run mine continuously. I set it to 40%. If it's above 40%, it gets on. If it's below 40%, it gets off. That's a key metric as far as the overall humidity levels. Right about 55%, the Penicillium and Aspergillus mold, the green and white type fuzzies, will start to increase. And it's not something you're necessarily going to see, especially in a basement, until it's really progressed. So it's a simple tool, dehumidify your basement, but it's also important that you dehumidify both sections of the basement and even the crawl space, because an area that's unconditioned can harbor a lot of mold growth, and that's usually where your HVAC system is or your utilities are. And that can get contaminated and further disperse molds and everything else. All right. So I'll tell you what, I think that that's going to be a really good reading. We're going to set up our test. All right, so we're going to rerun the air sample, and then we're going to compare it. Again, for people that are just joining, we have our Filter Queen Defender air purifier. It's a medical grade class 2 medical device made by Filter Queen in Brooklyn, Ohio. It's a great unit by Healthmore, and that's kind of the go-to. I really like this unit. It's portable, it's functional, it's FDA approved, it's quiet, it provides a great coverage area, and that's something that, especially in this day and age, trying to maintain wellness, I think that any medical grade air purifier is a great investment into your home environment to make it healthier. So that's going to be a really good thing. And I think that we measured the overall particle levels. We said, I believe we're right around 900 total particle levels. We're down all the way to 200 particle levels. So with the Filter Queen Defender, we see a pretty good reduction at the 2.5 micron. So that's going to be a really good metric, and we hope that that corresponds to with the overall air quality. And people mention air quality. Air quality can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So today we're measuring specifically molds and allergens through a simple air sample. And we're trying to measure the difference between the indoor level and the outdoor level before and after the air purifier has been turned on. So this is something that'll be really interesting to see the different levels. And with air quality, though, there's many different aspects. we have formaldehyde, we have chemicals, and within those chemicals we have types of chemicals, whether they're fuel sources or personal care products or paints or lacquers. These chemicals are called volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. We've talked about particulate matter, PM 2.5, PM10, that deals with the 2.5 micron and the 10 micron. These microns can go deep into the lungs, enter the bloodstream, cause acute effects. So it's good to have very low and normal particulate matter. Again, air purification, HEPA filtration, cleaning your air ducts, minimizing carpeting. I say there's no such thing as a clean carpet. So that if you can use a HEPA filter vacuum cleaner on a regular basis, that's going to reduce your overall particulate matter. Making sure that your chimneys are free from soot and debris, that's also going to be a really good thing. Soot happens, it accumulates within the air ducts. You can also have soot, ambient soot, if you live in an urban environment coming inwards. Obviously smoking nearby or burning of bushes. We see a lot of wildfire soot for my clients out there on the West Coast. It's very problematic. That can get indoors and infect people with asthma and actually cause respiratory illness. The children and the elderly are very susceptible for that. So we want to make sure that we're minimizing any sort of soot and particulate matter. Other things that contribute to poor air quality would be carbon monoxide. People don't understand that if their carbon monoxide meter's not going off, doesn't mean that you don't have carbon monoxide in the air, and even at an unhealthy level. It just means that it's not a life-threatening situation. So I highly recommend that people invest in a high-quality carbon monoxide meter that goes down to a true 0.0 parts per million to get an accurate baseline measurement that will warn you. We see people with headaches at 3 or 4 or 5 parts per million of carbon monoxide, and that can be an adjustment on the heating and cooling system. It could be an improper appliance, and it could be a home that is too tight. And speaking of which, people that have spray foam insulation or newer windows or an energy efficient building, well, that's great on the pocketbook, it may be bad for your health because you're not getting the fresh air exchanges. So a simple technique is opening the windows. That'll encourage a proper fresh air exchange, or you may need a mechanical measure, specifically an energy recovery ventilation system, an ERV, sometimes a heat recovery ventilation system. And what this does is it brings outside air in and inside air out, so you can get proper fresh air exchanges. So sometimes they say the solution to pollution is dilution, and that's what the ERV system's trying to do. You can measure the overall fresh air exchanges by a proxy through carbon dioxide, and what we can do is measure our carbon dioxide, and right now we're at 406 parts per million, and that's very consistent with the outside. So a lot of homes that are too tight might be over 1,000 parts per million. We recommend every school and classroom have one of these carbon dioxide detectors in the classroom, because you wouldn't necessarily know if the heating or ventilation system is working properly unless you're measuring the carbon dioxide. So our sample's complete. We're going to tape this up. And I already feel better with the air purifier running. I always do. I love these things. So check back with us. We should have results in a few days. IndoorDoctor.com. We're going to post on our media blog. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any question at all regarding your indoor space for indoor air quality, environmental health, you can direct message me on any of these social channels at Indoor Doctor. My name's Jeff Bradley. Thanks for watching. Take care.